this is an update. $2 million settlement to a family because a cop killed a man, a drummer. Let me remind you of this horrific story. Let's put up a picture full mass. The family of 31-year-old Corey Jones, a black man who was killed by a Palm Beach Gardens, Florida officer. This was in 2015. They have now reached a $2 million settlement with the city. Jones reportedly was killed on I-95 exit ramp by the officer after his SUV broke down. The church drummer was on his way home from playing a gig with his reggae band. Palm Beach Gardens officer Nouman Raja and Jones at approximately 3:15 a.m. on October 18th, 2015, after seeing his SUV stalled on the exit ramp, there was this connection, this interaction, and this death, shot and killed him. Officer Raja was actually convicted of attempted murder and manslaughter in 2019 and is currently in prison serving a 25-year sentence, as it should be. According to 7 News Miami, Raja is the first law enforcement agent in the state to be convicted and sentenced to prison for on-duty killing in almost 30 years. Let me give you details of what happened. Jones carried a handgun and was authorized to carry a concealed weapon. He bought the firearm to protect his drum set that was worth $10,000, which he had in his vehicle, when he was approached by Raja. Officer Raja worked for the city's auto burglary investigation team and wore plain clothes, but was told to wear his police vest if he ever approached a civilian, which in this instance, he reportedly did not do. Raja was wearing a baseball hat, jeans, and a t-shirt when he approached Jones by driving an unmarked van up to the exit ramp in the wrong direction. Raja did not verbally identify himself, nor did he show Jones his badge when he pulled his van up to Jones' vehicle. The prosecutor said that Officer Raja acted in such an aggressive manner. Jones must have thought he was about to be killed or robbed when he reached for his handgun as Raja opened fire multiple times. Now, what do we have so far? We have an officer who's on duty, who probably does fear for his life. Let me explain that part. However, he created the situation. He antagonized the entire ordeal. He was the aggressor. He initiated the interaction that led to a reasonable reaction from the man he ended up killing. So just because you may now fear for your life because somebody is actually reaching for a gun, if you created all of the circumstances that led to this moment, you do not get to say this is self-defense. That is my point. The prosecutor did the right thing. I got to tell you this, 99% of jurisdictions would not have charged this cop. No, there's more. Jones had been talking to a tow truck dispatcher on a recorded line. The dispatcher recorded him saying to Raja as he opened his door, "Huh?" Raja yelled, "You good?" And Jones replied that he was. Raja asked him, "Really?" Raja then yelled for Jones to raise his hands while using profanity. According to prosecutors, Jones pulled his gun, tried to run away, while Officer Raja fired 3 shots at him as he ran down an embankment and threw his gun. Raja then fired more times at Jones, who was ultimately shot once in each arm and through his heart. Raja claimed that Jones pulled his gun on him first. However, audio recording of the shooting death indicated that Raja instigated the altercation. Jones' gun was found approximately 125 feet away from his body, and the gun had not been fired. Now, let's talk about protocol and policy. Number one, George Floyd Policing and Accountability Act, if it would have passed, actually lowers the bar of what we know as mens rea. Cops right now gotta kind of know what they're doing is a criminal act. under the George Floyd version of reform, the requirement would be similar to you and I, the everyday person. We don't have that. What do we have here? We literally have an officer who instigated the entire matter. But that's not abnormal, is it? It is not abnormal for an officer to be wrong, to initiate contact, to be absolutely incorrect in their investigative prowess, something bad happening, and they are exonerated because of the rules or policy of that particular department. So, Ms. Dahl, I'm glad you're here to give us the why. Why was it that this incident led to an actual conviction?
Well, I think that the big why is because of that audio recording. You know, they need the evidence, and to that extent, they were able to hear how that all unfolded. I think you can't deny that kind of evidence. But I think they could have charged murder, and it is possible if this was after George Floyd, they might have. We definitely have seen more aggressive charging of police officers since then. I mean, it's Florida, so I'm gonna hedge that, but I think that they could have shown intent there. Not only did he instigate it, but it wasn't the first few shots that were fatal. It was after he threw the gun, after he continued running. And maybe at that point, I think the threat to him had definitely passed, and they could have said that at that point he did have the intent for murder. So I think they could have done it. There's always reasons why not. They don't want to overcharge and not get a conviction. But I was actually really disappointed to see the $2 million figure. I think this is such a horrible case. The facts here are so bad. I mean, he was plainclothes. He didn't introduce himself. There was really nothing that the victim did at all that was aggressive. So I think he should have gotten the family should have received much more than the 2 million. It's possible, you know, there's always factors that go into settlement, but this to me was a kind of a really bad case. And although I'm glad there was some justice, I think there could have been more.
I completely concur because the settlement happened after the conviction. There's absolutely nothing else for you to defend. The man was convicted of what you are suing the city over. So I agree, 2 million, really low.